All rise and shout. I'm starving. Let's get to what's trending.
Dives for the end zone. He's got it. Retzlaff again is going to get sacked. Retzlaff throws. That's a touchdown.
Oh, it's a quarterback quandary of sorts. What's trending is sponsored by BYU Food to Go, the MVP of your next event. We'll get to the quarterbacks in just a moment, Dave, but first and foremost, we need to go back to the most quotable thing from Kalani Sitake's press conference yesterday. When he was asked how he's feeling heading into Oklahoma week after that debacle against Iowa State, here's what the head football coach said.
New week, so going to our next game, and then looking forward to the game this weekend. And obviously, last weekend didn't go the way we wanted it to, but I think after watching the film and seeing where we're at, have a lot of excitement for what we can get done this week.
Okay, Kalani chooses the word excitement for what BYU can get done this week. Because he uses that word, got us thinking, all right, how are all of the rest of us feeling about this game against Oklahoma, where BYU is a 24.5-point home underdog right now? So how would you express your emotions and feelings leading into this game, given what we've seen the last 3 weeks?
Well, listening to the coach, and again, listening to it this morning, I think that Timberly told him, you go down there and you say something nice. And so this is Kalani's way of saying, I'm not giving up on these guys, and I need these guys to not give up on themselves. And so he's excited to just, hey, it's Oklahoma. They've never been here before. This is one of the big fish in the pond coming in. And I think it's all about, guys, it doesn't matter what happened Saturday. What matters is this Saturday.
Sure.
That being said, I've been researching them for AFR, the Sooners for AFR tonight, and man, they're number one in all the categories you don't want your opponent to be number one in.
They're number one in
offense.
many categories that BYU is near dead last in on offense, right?
So you look at that and you go right back to that line from Jaws where you go, hey, we're going to need a bigger boat as you see them swim by. But they're 2-2 on away from home.
Yeah.
And they can be vulnerable at times. UCF took them to the limit.
They looked a little bit mediocre even at Cincinnati.
Right. And they're
different team on the road.
They're coming in here. They're going to feel like this is also the earliest game for them since 2002. But BYU's just put up so little of a fight the last 3 weeks. I think that's where Cougar Nation is thinking, just show me some. Just punch back a little bit. Show us you can counterpunch and stay in the fight longer than the first round. And I think that's kind of where the mindset of Cougar Nation is, where the coach has got to go, no, we're coming in, guns a-blazing, and we got a chance to shock the country. You do have a chance to steal the headline of the day. These guys think they're still going to the Big 12 championship, or at least they have a shot at it. They're 14th in the country, and BYU's on ESPN again, a chance to make some noise. But, man, I think Cougar Nation's nervous.
Certainly. Nervous is a fair word. I think the word that first popped into my mind was hesitant. I'm not really sure what to expect from BYU because of the trend that we've seen over the last 3 weeks. But you have to consider the emotions of senior day. And they know now, every one of the players that I interviewed in the postgame talked specifically about getting to 6 wins. 6 wins is still very, very important for us, especially for the seniors. How incredible would it be to do something that basically nobody expects you to do as a 24.5-point underdog, to upset Oklahoma, to get win number 6, and do so on senior day in front of a national audience? Hey. I mean, all of that stuff, like that alone, like you set the table right there and you're like, okay, I can see why people would be excited. Yeah. It's Oklahoma in Provo on senior day, and you have a chance to, again, do something to right the ship immediately and get to a bowl game in your first Power 5 season. But BYU has shown us who they are over 10 weeks.
Yeah.
Dave, in order for BYU to beat Oklahoma, to me, one simple thing has to happen. Okay? And if it happens, you better believe I'm at the front of the line saying, I'm very excited. Okay?
I'm excited to hear what this is.
That is, you have to be at least +2 in the turnover margin.
Yeah.
For BYU to have any shot to beat Oklahoma, because they've shown us in the 5 wins that they've had, plus 12 in the turnover margin, 5 losses, minus 8. You got to beat Oklahoma in the turnover battle, probably by 2 to have any type of shot. And if BYU can't do that, then I'm feeling significant trepidation because that Oklahoma offense is a high-powered machine. And the Cougars, when they have won games, they've been opportunistic after they have turned teams over. This is the way for BYU.
Got to make Dylan Gabriel uncomfortable.
Yes.
He's the best quarterback in the country as far as starts and touchdown passes over the course of his career. Certainly the best quarterback in the Big 12 in all the statistics we were talking about. But if you can get some pressure on him, rattle him early, he's capable of making mistakes because he's a human being. Now, they don't make a lot, and when they do make mistakes, they make up for it in other ways. When BYU makes mistakes, it just compounds and it gets worse.
It's off the rails. It's snowball effect.
They really got to do better in all the things that they're not doing well in to have a chance on Saturday. But there's been crazy games in the league all year long. Every dog has his day. And is this an upset opportunity? Of course it is, because you got 2 teams on the field playing football. And one team happens to be the home team, and it is at an early hour. We don't know how that's going to affect the guys, but it can affect them worse than their performance in the late hours last Saturday night. So why not start the day with some football and see what happens? But there's always that chance for an upset. BYU didn't get much of a chance when they beat Oklahoma in Dallas. When the Sooners were number 3.
Sure.
But BYU had Max Hall and Dennis Pitta and Harvey Unga who were playing at a high level. Where are these guys?
Yes.
Who's going to play at the high level to give them a fighting chance on Saturday? Is it going to be the quarterback? Well, then which quarterback?
That's a great question, which is going to lead us into topic 2 in a second, but not before we get to our question of the day, which is, which word would you use to describe your feelings for Saturday's game against Oklahoma? Lindsey Campbell is the first to chime in on Facebook. She says, excited. She joins Kalani. Excited to go cheer on the Cougs. I have seen 2 BYU-Oklahoma games in person. So she was at the Copper Bowl in 1994
nice.
And in Jerry's World in 2009. She said, BYU's won them both. I'm not optimistic, but enthused, cheering on the Cougs and saying thanks to the departing seniors. Go Cougs. Dave, I cannot emphasize how important it is for BYU to have at least a decent start. Yeah. Is it any surprise that not only you have turnovers factored into the 2 games that BYU has won in the Big 12, but think about the 2 games that BYU actually started the game well. They had a pick 6 against Cincinnati to start the scoring. Very exciting, even though the rest of the half was kind of a dud until right before halftime. But still, decent start. And then you got a great start against Texas Tech. BYU won both those games. Yeah. They've had bad starts and all 5 losses.
I wrote an article in the paper, the way to beat Mike Tyson in his glory was to get him in the later rounds, and that gave you a chance. Most were destroyed in the first 3 rounds. Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, a couple other guys got him in the later rounds and beat him.
You got to hang around early.
Oklahoma's the Mike Tyson in his prime of the Big 12 coming in here. You got to get in the 4th quarter with a chance, and then you have a chance. And then you land an uppercut, all of a sudden it's your day. But don't get knocked out in the first round.
Exactly.
Come on.
And to your previous question, who the heck is going to help BYU at quarterback try and get into those latter rounds?
Kalani Sitake was asked about the health of Kedon Slovis and if he would start against Oklahoma if healthy. Here's what he said.
Practiced last week. He's still banged up, not 100% yet last week, and we felt like Jake gave us the better chance. This week we'll kind of see what it looks like this week and let you know. I mean, that's I'm not in Kedon's body, but I can tell you that if he's ready to go and if he's full strength, then he's our guy usually.
Okay, so then on Coordinator's Corner, the offensive coordinator, Aaron Roderick, was asked the same question, and here's his response.
Kedon is progressing. He's not fully healthy yet, though, so not sure exactly what his status will be as of yet. But I know for sure he's not 100%.
Okay, so right now Jake's preparing as it's his job for the foreseeable future.
I would expect that, yes.
Okay.
All
Some
right.
conflicting messages there.
A little bit there.
For sure.
If I'm Kedon, I want to hear that if I'm healthy, it was my job, and then I got hurt, I get my job back. And the person replacing me is not outperforming me. And so if healthy, Kedon should get the start. I think that. I'm sure Kedon thinks that. And it sounds like Kalani says, at least to the media. Aaron Roderick, not so much.
Yeah, interesting messaging there. I know that I know why they're saying what they're saying about Kedon, because if he's not healthy, they don't want to like establish a precedent where it's like, well, you're 60%, you're going out there, like figure it out. But I am inclined to believe that because this is senior day, Dave, this is the last home football game that Kedon Slovis is ever going to play in his college career against Oklahoma. Yeah. I feel like he's going to talk his way into somehow playing at least some of this game on Saturday. And frankly, I hope he's healthy enough to start. And we're kidding ourselves if we think that Kedon, well, in fact, I can tell you with a surety that since the Kansas game, really, he hasn't been 100%. Kedon has played partially hurt since the Kansas game and still figured out a way to win a few games against Cincinnati and Texas Tech after that. He was the BYU quarterback that got the Cougars to a 5-2 record. Yeah. He did enough. He threw some dimes, threw some nice touchdown passes. Yes, I know that there was no run game, and he doesn't run around like Jake Retzlaff, but he's still the quarterback that got BYU to 5-2.
And fans go, hey, where was the deep ball? Where's the attacking over the middle? Those play calls were different for Slovis because Slovis was hurt, and none of us knew that.
He has been banged up for a while, but can he get healthy enough? Yeah. You know, whether it's shoulder stuff, elbow stuff. He wanted to play last week. I know for a fact he was upset that he was not
you were on the sideline.
Chosen to play quarterback in the last. He understands, but he's not happy about it.
Right. Nor should he be.
He feels like, look, I'm hurt, whatever, I'm ready to go. Like Kedon Slovis would play today. I respect that. He's a great leader. I love that mentality. I feel like he gives, even at 80 to 85%, if we can, like, however you want to quantify, like, how healthy that is, I feel like at that percentage, he would still give BYU the best chance to beat Oklahoma because he can at least stretch the field.
Yeah, and he's seen defenses like this before, and he's felt the pressure like this before. And Jake hasn't. You know, Jake may have all the talent in the world and may be one of the greats at BYU down the road. But he hasn't been through 2 games, which isn't a surprise because he's coming from junior college into the fire. And now he's got Oklahoma coming in. And, you know, when he backs up to pass and here come the Sooners, the reservoir in his mind of information and experience is so different from the reservoir in Kedon Slovis's mind.
Naturally.
Because of everything you just said. And I just haven't seen anything from Jake yet that goes, we're running the offense. He has moments, there were a couple of drives in the game, but there were plays like this where your checkdowns are open, and we'll break down all of this on AFR. And hey, this is a young kid trying to grow up really, really fast in a P5 league, and this is what you get. There aren't supermen. They're real live guys that have got to go through the grind to get the experience. You just can't skip that step. Yeah. Although we'd like them to skip that step because BYU needs a win to get bowl eligible, even though they're not playing anywhere near a bowl eligible team.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not above rolling Kedon Slovis out there. And if it's not going well after 3 or 4 drives, and he's clearly impacted, and it's like, okay, we tried, it's senior day, he said he was healthy enough, he doesn't look the part, it's okay. Or he gets hit, and it's like, it's clearly not his day again. And Kedon has made some bad mistakes too. He's been a part of some of these bad starts on the road for sure, at TCU, at Texas. He knows that. But still, because of the experience and how much more high-level football he has played against top-tier competition, I'm inclined to say, go out there. You're 80%, go out there. We'll see what happens. If it's looking terrible after 3 or 4 drives, okay, we gave it a go. Then we're going to put Jake in, and we're going to try and run him around a little bit and just see what happens.
And the key for everyone else is to play better so it's not all on Jake or Kedon to contend with
notably
Oklahoma.
The offensive line.
Block for him.
Yes.
Maybe open some running lanes, catch the ball, those kind of things to help the quarterback, no matter who it is, feel like the world isn't on his shoulders because it's going to be a full stadium and there's anxiety already. You go 3 and out a couple of times, it's going to be a weird mood over there.
Yeah, especially if Oklahoma is scoring on their first 2 drives, and again, you're down 14-0.
Yeah.
And you're halfway through the first quarter, and everybody in the stands is thinking, here we go again.
Right.
That is what BYU is trying everything in their power to avoid, is that early knockout punch.
And it should be a long time till August 31st when we're back in that stadium watching another football game. This is it. Got to enjoy Saturday. Got to make Saturday good.